Hello everybody, how's it going? My name is Nick, aka Capers, and today I'm here on behalf of Rad Nauseam to bring you some high quality paper content. Before we get started, I just want to remind you guys to check up a like and subscribe on the videos. We really appreciate the support we've gotten recently, and subscribing to the videos, liking them, commenting, all that stuff. It really helps us in the long term as well. So here we have 8pt Dimir Moons versus Atraxa Walks. This was recorded from the Plenty of Games weekly event, so only just last week. And big shout out to Plenty of Games once again for letting us record all of our matches at the weekly event. So big shout out to Plenty of Games and a great place to play Magic if you're ever in the Melbourne CBD. So let's jump into the games. I have here with me the pilot for the Atraxa Walks today. Hello Nathan, how are you?
Today I am good. I'm excited to watch this back with you and go from there.
Love to hear it. So am I. Very excited. Yeah, let's waste no time. Let's jump straight into the deck list. So I spoke to Zach, and we weren't able to get his deck list from this weekly, but he did confirm that he was playing Kyle's list from the monthly event. This is, as you can see, Kyle's list. He's been playing it, and he's been tearing up monthly events playing this Dimir deck. So a really sweet list, and as you can see, it is 9 points now, so Zach would have had to have cut a point. But yeah, this is what he was playing. What do you think, Nathan?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Kyle's list. I've played against it a few times in the finals of one of the monthly events, and it puts in so much work. It's very flush with answers, with interaction, threats, and being able to have this sort of just you lose button of the Harbinger and the back to basics against most decks. It's very difficult to come up with a consistent game plan.
Yeah, I agree. This deck is really sweet and really interactive as well, which I love to watch. It's going to make for a good game later. And then we have your deck list, Atraxa Walks. Tell me about it.
This is the deck that I've been playing a lot most recently, and it's just such a fun deck to play. There are so many interesting lines, so many cool, unique cards that a lot of other decks don't really want to play with. So combining those things together, it's just a very enjoyable experience. Notably, we've got Quantum Riddler, which just came out. It's such a fun card. Very unique in how it impacts the game at multiple stages. And then you've got, Atraxa, Absolute House, Natural Order. But then you've got the Time Walk package at the end of it. Just the deck almost doesn't even need the Time Walk stuff, but it's just nice to have. So, yeah, I've been really enjoying this deck, and I can't wait to show it off.
Agreed. Yeah, this deck is sweet. And yeah, the mid-range plan is often really hard to beat on its own, just the amount of value the deck can accrue. And yeah, Neoforming a Quantum Riddler is an experience. It just goes and gets Metamorphosis Fanatic, and then it brings back the Riddler, and your opponent has drawn multiple cards, and you lose the game. So yeah, this deck is great. A lot of really sweet interactions, and yeah, it's going to be a really exciting interactive game. All right, here we go.
I believe I won the die roll.
I think so too.
This game, which is always, this format just feels like it's absolutely decided by who goes first. But you can see there, got lining up a pretty interesting couple of turns here.
Yeah, you can already, your hand practically has a whole plan. You got a Failure in there. There's an Overlord of the Balmerk, which in itself is a 2-card combo that's kind of revived, like put a bit of life into those Orzhov decks. So yeah, I always get really scared when I see you pass with white mana open. It's terrifying.
It's true. It's true. And I was incredibly quick to give my opponent the thumbs up there and say, yep, I'm keeping this hand.
Yeah, even the Delighted Halfling to play around any
days.
Yep, days, counterspell, force of will. Yeah, of course. You just have it all. Amazing. And then yeah, the combo with the Balmerk is very sweet.
Wonder if my opponent knows what's coming. He doesn't. He said to me that he's just returned to playing 7-point Highlander, so I'm sorry for this reintroduction to the format. But it's just I guess a reality of what the current power level is.
Yeah, I
mean,
mean,
gonna do some pretty busted things.
Yeah. Failure and Overlord as well is a really cool combo in your deck, and it's a it's made a lot of Orzhov piles really good recently as well. Just being able to draw through a lot of your deck, put a bunch of your cards in your graveyard, and we have a Ledger Shredder followed up by a Bauble. So Zach also having a great time here, getting his.
Yeah, it's off to the races for Zach. He's getting some value. Gonna draw a few cards, see a few things, but like I was saying before, without having sort of a deeper knowledge of what your opponent is doing, it can be quite difficult to decide what to keep off this surveil trigger. Oh, surveil trigger. This loot trigger.
Yeah. Is yeah, you are telegraphing a failure quite heavily, so it's maybe looking for a
It could be
removal spell.
like if I'd played a slightly different land, I could be telegraphing this endurance I have in my hand, but
Yep.
not a lot of people are on the main deck endurance yet. We should see that coming up though.
Could be a nice
Cards are
Fang
absolute
Coatl.
house. It could be. My
Showing
opponent's seen the
some.
top card of my library. It is a scrub land, and he has to read that one.
Yep.
Just to make sure of the colors, I assume.
Yeah.
And here we're going to have my earlier in play.
Yep. Uncounterable as well.
Drawing for the bauble.
And yeah, just a quick cut there. I think we knocked the camera, so I fixed it. Oh, brutal. A Leyline Binding as well.
I'm intending to play 2 spells this turn, so I'm binding his Ledger Shredder out of the way so that I don't give him a chance to draw a card here and potentially find an answer to what I'm doing.
Yep.
Seeing Overlord Resolve, this is a pretty spooky board set to go against, and absolute pick of the litter for cards in the bin here from the Overlord.
I don't know if you
I'll
could
take
name 3 better creatures to like. Do I want a Time Walk combo? Do I want a Planeswalker in play? Do I want Baraglyph? I don't know. And then
I guess the Spellseeker, maybe something else from the like an Eternal Witness or something in the bin could have also been a bit of fun here from the Overlord, but we only get the Spellseeker.
well,
End of turn, this Overlord's gonna come back in.
Yep.
What do we flip?
the Eternal Witness, of course.
Oh, it's it. It's the Eternal. Wow. Yeah, I think I'll take the Eternal Witness.
I guess
My
I'll just have
opponent
it on
doesn't
today.
know what.
Yeah.
My opponent doesn't know what I'm up to. He hopefully does now.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of a giveaway. And you have what, like 10 power on the board as well, on turn 3. So
Yep. On the play, it's pretty overwhelming for the Dimir Moons deck. I was wondering how exactly he's going to stay in this.
yeah, Harbinger right now doesn't feel good either. Just attack with your Overlord, get back the Generous End. So Fatal pushing, long goodbying failure, and then dismembering the Overlord. So removal spell with removal spell, but there is a cost.
Yeah, and like that's a pretty clean way to get the board back to where you want it to be. But those resources, I guess the interesting thing with these kind of games is they do come down to that sort of resource battle, the war of attrition, and I got to pick up 2 cards, very powerful cards in this deck, and he's had to use two cards from his hand to sort of stop himself from dying, but it's still not looking great for my opponent.
Yeah. What are you gonna get with this this Spellseeker?
Well, I'm currently deciding on whether or not to just jam the Spellseeker and get a Time Walk, and then cast the Eternal Witness to bring it back and cast it again, and see what I can do with having a few extra turns, a few extra draw steps.
Of course. Yep.
But I think I'm going to opt to do something slightly different here, just making sure I tap this correctly.
Yep. Animating your land into a creature is really smart. You're able to get some extra damage here by moving your lands into your creature zone.
Yeah,
it's a Spellseeker. Beautiful.
So, gonna opt to go for something slightly different here than just jamming the Time Walk. But you can see showing off the Inquisition there next to the Time Walk. But I'm gonna ephemerate my Spellseeker. This line obviously not very exciting against a Mental Misstep if it is in the deck, but Gonna thought seize to make sure that I'm not dead, and my opponent is going to reveal only one card that can really disrupt me at this point, and I'm
Yep.
going to snap that one off.
That's it. Yeah. No, it's some really good creatures though on his side, but yeah, it's seeming a little bit inevitable now that you can get your ephemerate back on the in your upkeep. So
Yeah, my opponent not really having it much interaction. He's got to really hope this Thought Scour does some work for him.
yeah, what saves you here? You're the Dimir opponent. Maybe another removal spell.
Probably, I think you'd have to draw on the land for turn and potentially draw the back to basics off the.
Yeah.
I think that something like that is your only real out there, or potentially a counter spell just to stop the ephemerate, but still got an Eternal Witness to get it back. Trading 1-for-1 resources, it feels very bad in this position.
Yeah. We've drawn the land, so we have one of those pieces, and the other piece is Tammy. And Psychic Frog.
Both very powerful cards, but not really relevant in this sort of game state.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna upkeep, ephemerate my Spellseeker back, and I'm just gonna get a Time Walk.
Yep. Making it quite clear what your deck is gonna do, where your points are. And yeah, Tamio and Psychic Frog, both Modern Horizons 3 cards. And your strongest card was printed in Alpha, so
Yep.
great.
Play my land for turn and going to do some get very excited and then try to ephemerate and think about ephemerating first here and then be like, wait, no, actually I need to cast my Time Walk.
Yep.
I don't tap don't tap correctly. I could have ephemerated as well as cast Time Walk here, but I'm just shaking off a bit of the rust and trying to show my opponent that he's dead in the fastest way possible, but potentially just need to slow down there a little bit.
Yeah, it is a bit exciting when you have the win in your hands. You can see your opponent's hand is just Baraglyph, so oh.
Showing him my Atraxa, and I'm just going to bounce with the fairy here. Put the ephemerate into my hand even though it's on rebound, and it'll be like, actually, oops, sorry, that's not what it is. And
Teferi is good too here, even though your opponent only has the Baraglyph. It is a great way to protect yourself against a Force of Will or even a misstep or something. So, and just explain, I think you're explaining to Zach, yep, I accidentally put ephemerate into my hand, yeah.
And then also showing him that from here I'm going to take infinite turns and punch him to death when he has no blockers.
Yep.
Or no meaningful blockers.
Yep, that's it. That's all she wrote. The insane value from the Overlord failure combo was all you really needed to pull ahead, and then just finding the combo, which is very resilient as well, especially with a Thought Seize in your hand. So, game one, nice and free.
Yeah, it's always good to be on the play and get the win when you're on the play against these kind of decks, just to give you a little bit of breathing room for game 2 when the sideboard comes in.
Yep.
If you can't really accrue any value early, get shut down, can be quite hard to sort of get back in it, especially with like a start like this, opponent leading on Tamio.
Yeah, which can be a really strong card as well. What do you think when you're boarding against Walks here? What do you think your opponent should be bringing? I can see an opposition agent in his hand, and I can also see what you've boarded in against him, which is
this kind of deck. The game plan doesn't really change that much in terms of sideboard strategy, but does change in terms of how you're going to fetch, how you're going to prioritize tapping your lands, etc. Like, so here, for example, obviously having the Carpet of Flowers is very nice in the opening hand, but also having the basic forest means that I'm going to be pretty resilient to one of the angles that my opponent's going to try and win on.
Yep. Opponent's hand looks like it's Tomb. We have a Psychic Frog, opposition agent as well, so some really strong creatures. You are about to jump ahead on mana a little bit.
Yep. My opponent fetching a swamp there. Obviously didn't really have any other choice, but him having to potentially stumble on mana to play around this carpet is going to be something that I'm hoping to get a bit of value from.
Yeah, it seems like you're a bit of the mana denial deck right now.
Yeah, It's always an interesting sort of mini game that you play with your opponents when you know that they can have a carpet of flowers and trying to decide how you fetch. But one of the good things about this Atraxa Walks deck is that while it does have a lot of blue cards in it, it doesn't really need double blue. You can survive most games, assuming your opponent doesn't have any sort of wasteland stripmine shenanigans, with only one blue source. So
Tapping the
pretty.
carpet, genius.
Yeah, tapping the carpet to indicate that I'm using the mana from it.
Yeah,
Drawing my card and going to continue to get ahead here on mana.
yeah. I saw you searching your library and kind of longingly looking at the frog there and then grabbing your tundra.
Yeah, if only fetch lands could put Psychic Frog into play.
Yeah, it would
My
be.
opponent reading the card to figure out why I was tapping it to show him my mana.
It's like improvise, right? Tap it to
Yeah,
cast
that's
your
it.
noble hierarch. Yeah.
That's it.
So he could be bringing in the opposition agent, which is actually pretty good against your deck. Obviously, it doesn't
It's
help
incredible against it.
Yeah, doesn't help against the mid-range plane, but you are tutoring a lot, and being able to snag a Spellseeker trigger is it's a great feeling to be able to exile the Time Walk and then decide when you want it. It's pretty great.
Definitely is. And this Baleful Strix that currently being destroyed by the light is absolutely holding down the fort here. My opponent unable to attack cleanly with the Psychic Frog or the Tameo. It's just put an absolute wall up against his good start.
Yep, which is a great thing about Baleful Strix. A lot of people undervalue is it's essentially just like a flying removal spell, as well as it replaces itself.
Yeah, it's definitely gone up a lot in my ratings. I was a big fan of Grixis being a lot more proactive when I was playing at the decks that I tried to play with Grixis, and it took me a while to really come around to Baleful Strix, but it really just does everything.
Beautiful. Making mana. We're casting something. Beautiful. A hard
I'd
cast.
cast a Solitude.
This is great. This
Opponent
is
is good. I think I took a while here deciding what I was going to do. Not sure exactly what I had in my hand, but the reason why I'm deciding I have a Neoform. That's
yeah.
right.
We have a Neoform.
I was deciding whether or not I wanted to Neoform my Baleful Strix, but the fact that it's holding down the fort and my opponent has 3 open mana just was very suspicious to me, and so I've just elected to cast my Solitude, remove the Psychic Frog, even though it's not really getting in, to just make sure that it never really does.
Agreed. Also, just getting it out of the graveyard is really important for your opponent having reanimate and unearth in their deck most of the time. So making sure it stays away. And we have a big format to play Kaito, Bane of Nightmares, which is a very good card. We're reading it.
Yeah, my opponent's kind of deciding what he needs to do with this Planeswalker.
Yeah, notably, it still can't attack Baleful Strix. Has hexproof, but
Does my opponent electing to give himself a +1/+1 to Ninja's emblem? I wouldn't be opposed to tapping down the Baleful Strix here and getting in with the
yeah,
Tameo once, just to sort of set up that clue, and then potentially angle for a flip of a Tameo a little bit earlier.
yeah, I think that's nice too. Railing's always great. Card selection is kind of what you need as well to stay in. So your hands and Eternal Witness. There's a few others in there.
The Neoform.
Yeah,
And
Endurance.
Endurance, and I think it's
Definitely in the tank.
yeah, having a
Oh,
think there about whether or not I wanted to keep that Felia.
really
And
good card with the Solitude as
yeah. Attacking here with my Solitude to try and whittle down the Kaito a bit. Obviously, my opponent doesn't really want to block with either of these creatures.
agreed. The threat of Neo forming right now. Fine.
Yeah, not that my opponent knows that I have it, but he has seen a lot of tutors in the previous game, so he definitely doesn't want to throw that one around.
I think Dismember's the last card there. Also a sweet one. We're still in the tank. Maybe you're thinking about the
Yeah,
Dismember and then Neoform.
yeah. I think having access to a neoform of a solitude into another, like into a reanimate from the metamorphosis into a second solitude feels pretty good here, but going to tap 3. Apologies to my opponent for how long I am thinking about my decision here, but
I think it's a good practice still to. There's an Eternal Witness. It's good practice to. Oh, we're able to get failure back as well, which is great. Yeah, I think it's good practice to take time to. I don't think many opponents are gonna sit there like impatiently waiting. It's always good to play through your lines. I think you drew a land there for Zach, so
and the failure Eternal Witness here is just threatening a lot of value. It's can be pretty hard to dig yourself out from an Eternal Witness every turn, returning like a removal spell or a
yeah.
value piece.
Even the Solitude or the Baleful Strix are two other things you could also flicker with failure. So kind of everything on your board is designed to generate value, which is really good. So in a great spot.
My opponent not really happy with his hand either at the moment, has elected to put them face down on the board while he tries to figure out how he's going to dig himself out of this one.
Yeah, I find myself doing this a lot too. I think with my cards face down, and I think it's always better to kind of cycle through your cards while you think, to kind of hope that something like
They
pops
change.
up. Yeah, that's it.
Do a magic trick and realize that you've been holding the game-winning card the whole time and you just hadn't seen the line yet.
Well, yeah, mine's in my sleeve, so I can kind of pull it out at will, and it gets me there.
Yeah. That's when I'm playing on webcam, playing like Commander or something. I keep my winning cards in my chest pocket so that they can't see me pull them out.
It's a good time. Played my fair share of Commander on Spell Table, and yeah, it's it's always a bit suspicious.
Where could he have gotten that card from?
I've had people turn their cameras off, or like, they reach over to, their hand disappears and it comes back, and wow, there it is. My Demonic Consultation and Thassa's Oracle's in my hand.
Yeah. And I just broke the sleeve though, so that's why they're different colored. So I just had to re-sleeve it. But yeah, so my opponent tapping 2 mana here and is cracking
a clue. Yeah, that was a clue. Yeah,
that was a clue. That wasn't the
clue.
emblem.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We haven't represented the emblem correctly, which is I think we'll get a judge over there next week to speak to Zach about the emblem. And also using a sleeve for a clue is also something I disagree with. So Fatal pushing the Baleful Strix to be able to create more clues. Probably the angle we're taking here, and we're getting in. All of us.
And if we had to, instead of ticked up the emblem last turn, we could have that Baleful Strix, I believe, would still be tapped down.
Yep.
And would be more easily able to get in through for their attack here.
Yeah, I agree.
Here I'm considering how I'm gonna block. I'm gonna flash in my failure, and I'm gonna elect to block like this. I'm just gonna read the Kaito card because basically what I'm thinking here is it worth preventing the damage so that he can't get the draw trigger? Because if he can't get the draw trigger, it makes it hard to flip this Tamio without committing all of his mana.
Yep.
So with the Neoform in my hand, I'm excited to trade away the opposition agent, and the failure is just gonna get thrown under the bus. Sorry, dog.
I think our hand is land Deathbite Shaman on Zach's side too, so Not a lot of proactive threats for him.
We're going to flip the Tameo here and give it a tick up. My opponent making sure that can't in fact draw a card.
Yep.
Going to surveil 2 anyway. 1 on top and 1 in the graveyard.
Probably giving you a little bit of information away, letting him know that he's probably got a land in his hand. Just only wants action. And then, yeah, now you get to make a bunch of mana. It always feels good as well. 3, is it?
Yeah.
Maybe it's 2. I can't remember.
2.
Yeah, 2.
Yeah, 2. And, yeah, we're on hard cast Atraxa mana here, which is always an exciting time for the deck.
Which is a great feeling.
And once again, I am having a think about where I want to be with my turn. I have a few different options. I think the main thing going through my head at the moment is whether or not I want to attack with my Solitude before I Neoform it. So having to consider what my line's going to be once I do Neoform it.
What are we playing around? Is it force of... What is the -2/-2 counters? The force of will one? The black force of will? Force of...
Do you mean like...
Contagion?
Is it Contagion? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't think at this point I'm playing around anything really. But it's just a matter of how I'm going to sequence it.
I guess you could also decide what Planeswalker do you want to kill here, right? Because you have lethal on both Tameo. Oh, no, you don't have lethal on Tameo. She makes your Exalted trigger only a 3 power, so...
Yeah.
You're just deciding what you want to do.
Yeah. I also have, I think it's an Emperor of Bones is my other card in my hand, which is why this decision about whether or not I'm attacking first is difficult, because I'm going to put this Emperor of Bones into play, and I'm going to decide whether or not I want to Neoform something first.
Yeah, I guess you have the mana to Neoform anything in your graveyard. Good.
So, don't think I have... I think I'm going to combat here. I don't think I met, obviously, I did not make any mana with my Carpet of Flowers. Going to put this Velia into play, by the looks of it, and evolve my Emperor of Bones. See if I can't do some work here.
How does Velia work with carpet? Can you flicker the carpet? The non-land permanent? I guess it comes back at the end step.
That's actually an interesting line. I did not think of that. Yeah,
I don't think it
made
works,
the mana no. I believe I could put the Carpet of Flowers. Oh no, we'd come back in my end step.
Yeah, in your end step. Yeah,
that wouldn't work.
Oh.
I wish the Velia trigger came back and was a flicker, not a... I guess a blink rather than a flicker.
Yeah, now it's looking pretty bad for Zach. All of his permanents outside of his lands are no longer in play.
So I've flickered his Tameo to turn it back off and gotten in with Solitude on his Kaito. Now I'm going to use my Carpet trigger here. And some green mana, Neoforming away my Solitude.
Neoform's been a pretty... Has been a recent addition to the deck, or has it always been in it? I feel like I've only seen it in the last few months.
Yeah, when I first started playing, I was playing Birthing Pod instead, but Neoform has just felt so fantastic in this deck.
Yeah.
Just gonna put...
Have it all. Yep.
Yeah. Eternal Witness into play, pick up my Neoform for threaten an Atraxa next turn, but also to hold up Endurance in case of any shenanigans.
Yeah, and this is the thing about your Neoform as well, is Neoforming away the Fnatic just gets Atraxa, which is another amazing line that the deck has.
Yeah, I think I've put more Atraxas into play off of Neoform than I have of Natural Order.
Yep. Maybe Neoform should point here.
Yeah, definitely not Atraxa.
Yeah, no. Atraxa is fine.
Atraxa's fine. It's the cheating it into play that's the problem, so we should
Yeah.
address it.
We should point every way to do that instead of the Atraxa card so that the 1 point list gets bigger on the website.
Yeah, I think the 1 point list definitely could use a few more cards in it. As we get more and more powerful effects, like your Atraxas, the Torstens, to put into play, we should really be looking to make sure that these cards are pointed forms. And Natural Order probably needs to go back to a point, but we won't talk.
Yeah, we won't talk about that. I'm enjoying
So my
an
opponent,
unpointed natural order though. What's your?
yeah. My opponent doesn't seem to be doing very much. It's just sending him in his Tameo. I think the problem here is my opponent believes that they're flipping their Tameo because of the Ponder. He's forgotten that it's not a brainstorm, and he's asking if he minds if he resequences. But I'm just explaining to him that he's not actually flipping it until he attacks. So
Yeah.
it's not super important, but my opponent's
Oh, and it was
looking at
back to basics.
Back to basics.
Pretty good here. I mean, the carpet flowers, it makes it a little bit redundant. I think you're still casting Neoform. I think we need a back to basics and a counter spell here to maybe bring it back.
Oh, yeah, and it's still threatening a lot of power on the floor as well. I've got a 5/5, a 4/4, and my opponent doesn't have a lot of turns, unlike me.
Yes, turns. It's
ha 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 ha.
Back to basics. Spell Pierce is our hand for attack. I mean, could slam the basics here, hold up Spell Pierce for your next play, but the carpet kind of nullifies that, and he's once again thrown his cards down. Not happy about the extra of the hand. And shuffling away the Ponder.
always a bit difficult to sort of figure out which angle you need to come back into this game from when you're being threatened from a few different angles like this. So it doesn't surprise me that there's a lot to think about, but Deathrite Shaman.
Why this deck is terrifying, right? It's you have to kind of cover the graveyard stuff. You have to beat the natural orders and the Neoforms as well. It's just
and then also not get Time Walk comboed on while also being able to outvalue the deck.
Yeah, sometimes just a stray Time Walk that then gets put into exile from like a Deathrite Shaman is fine, and all the value your deck needs to get ahead, getting to attack twice, getting to play out an extra creature. Sometimes that's all you need to do, and that is make the decks. But we have a back to basics, so now you only have what 6 or 7 mana on your turn instead of 9.
Yeah, it's opponent 3 islands. I have my 2 basic lands. My Ignoble Hierarch still putting in work. Access to 6 mana here. Gonna eat the opposition agent for no reason really, other than I don't like it. And gonna get in with my creatures that are bigger than his and see what he wants to do.
Yeah, we have a 6/6 Fanatic. We have a 4/4 Red Bones as well, so a lot of damage. And yeah, surely the Witness gets in. I don't know what the sleeve under it is for, but it's getting in.
I think it's to denote the lifelink from the Metamorphosis Fanatic.
Okay, so I guess I'll speak to the judge at Plenty of Games, get you some lifelink counters. They do come with precons and bundles and stuff, so you can pick them up pretty much anywhere. I guess we're just using sleeves for everything these days.
Yeah, the universal tool of Magic is the sleeve.
I recommend like using a sideboard card because you can flip it up. You know, when your opponent's not looking, and then you have a sideboard card.
That's I'm pretty sure that's what this. No, it's actually a token. But yeah, I'll have to get some lifelink counters for Metamorphosis Fanatic. The rate that I put them into play, it's definitely necessary.
You could write lifelink on the card as well if you wanted to.
So from here, I'm electing not to Neoform my Metamorphosis Fanatic into an Atraxa. I'm just going to go ahead and try and close the game out by putting a Spell Seeker into play and showing my opponent a Time Walk.
Now, notably, you also have a lot of mana here as well, right? So you have 3 extra mana on top and the Dork, so playing around Spell Pierce as well.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty difficult.
This is you counting out your mana. Yep, I have 4 mana here. I cast Time Walk, so Spell Pierce won't help. That's it, we reveal the Spell Pierce. Yeah.
And that's going to be game. It's always an interesting sort of match to play against these kind of decks, but we're able to close it out.
Alright, everybody, thank you so much for watching. This has been Nick and Nathan bringing you some high quality paper content from Rad Nauseam. Thank you again to Plenty of Games for letting us record the games at their store. We really appreciate it. And remember to give us a like and subscribe as well. It really does help the channel. Have a great day. See ya.